Good morning, guys. What is happening? It's Monday the 2nd of June, one day post-show, and I'm here with your winner, Sam Udall. Unfortunately, none of us won this time, but we both got inside the top 5. Sam inched me again, came away with the 4th. That's every show this year he's smoked me in, so let's just say it. Sam is the better bodybuilder for this year. And to be honest, to be sitting second behind Sam the whole season, it's actually not been that hard to take. I know I keep saying that I want to win. Everybody wants to win, but Sam's actually a genuine nice guy, and I think if he wasn't a genuine nice guy, it would have been a bit shitter, but he's such a sound guy. We actually got on so well, and he's that a good bodybuilder. I'm actually not embarrassed to be coming second behind him. So what's happening, Sam? What's next? What's next for you?
So for me, it's Journey into Open.
Ooh!
Journey into Open.
Right.
It seemed very clear, and like as you know, we were one of the most conditioned in that top 5. We definitely didn't lack in size.
You didn't lack in size.
Man, your legs are enormous.
Enormous. I spoke to Cuba last night, and he says that he says you don't need any more leg. He says you could be doing a wee bit more hamstring, but he says, but who could not be doing a bit more hamstring? Yeah. He says what you need is more back, more chest, and more arms, more shoulder.
Yeah.
He said, so I'm going to send you a nutrient split tomorrow. He says, we're going back to the gym with legs every 8 days. He says, and you're going to eat everything else twice. He says, and we're just going to do it for 6 months. But you look like are you holding yourself back, or?
I'm holding myself back, I would have to do this off-season. If I was to stay in Classic,
You would
I'd have to not train back, not train chest. And I'm addicted to progress, man.
Right.
I live to just keep going and going, and the idea of not being able to, I'd hit it eventually. I think I've still got like 3 kilos or something in my cap if I really pushed it.
Which is loads.
But that's without dehydrating and stuff like that before weigh-in. So I'd probably more if I really needed to, but it didn't make sense. If I was one of the bigger guys on stage,
but you were
conditioned,
yep,
and that look was my best look. That was the best I've been so far ever. And I was hard. I was dry.
I looked nuts yesterday, man.
I'm losing to people that are just better shape.
Yes,
That's what it boils down to. Is these guys have thin waists, wide shoulders, and
you could essentially though spend, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend the 6-7 months of off season just refining the look, because obviously I don't have a. So guys, in case you're watching this and you don't know about classic bodybuilding, the way it's defined from the open bodybuilding side of things is it's more about the shape and the flow, and like, I'm not saying open bodybuilding isn't about symmetry and shape and stuff, but open bodybuilding, you just whack on lots of muscle, you build your physique as best as you can. Classic, for them to keep everybody in the same kind of structure, the same kind of flow, they have to give each person a weight cap for their height, and that just keeps it fair. Otherwise, you could have, it would just be like another free battle in open.
it'd just be a bodybuilding.
Just be another open.
Yeah.
So with that, there's obviously a lot of different guys, going to be lots of different heights. So there's lots of different classes. There's only 4 classes: A, B, C, and D. So because there's only 4 classes, they have to have individual heights and segments inside each class. So inside class B, which is the class I competed in my first year in Classic last year, which is where I automatically fell for my height, which was 177.2 centimetres. My weight cap was only 91.5. Now last year that was fine because I weighed in at 90. I weighed in at 8 to 9.9 for the light heavies at the 2 bros. So I got in that cap, no problem. But then the judges told me I was more suited to Classic. Cuba agreed. I also agreed, so we thought, right, let's get to work with Classic. But I was maxed out. Again, I only had a kilo left.
Yeah.
So we looked at the heights, and for me to be into the next class, I had to be over 177.8, and I was 177.2. So I bought the inversion table, and I thought, you know what, I'll try it and see how it goes. I stretched myself religiously twice a day, 3 times a day sometimes, for 6 months. And then I was at 178.6. So I'd went up like 16 mils.
One thing as well, that is impressive in itself to do that for 6 months, because I just started doing it. I bought an inversion table just to see if I could go a little bit more, and there's days you just do not want to do that. And it is not comfortable. I can't express how uncomfortable that can be sometimes.
But I needed to do it because if I wanted to be in Classic, that extra
Yeah.
6 mil of height gives me another 3.6 kilograms.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer. If I want to stay in classic, I have to go to this height class.
But it's kudos to you, because I don't, honestly, how uncomfortable it is.
It is very uncomfortable. It's
I don't
very,
think anyone would do it.
No, probably not. I'm not 100% in or 100% in. So I'm saying to myself, I cannot physically put on any more muscle this off season and come back in class B.
Yeah.
So I'll have to stay open or a stretch.
Yeah.
So I've done it religiously all year, but what I've realised is towards the back end of the season there, I can stop doing it for a week, I'll shrink back down.
Yeah.
But then I only need like 4 days on it before peak week plus peak week. So if I do it for a fortnight before the show, I'm back up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep going with it through off season this year, because I think if I continue doing it through off season, it might keep me a bit taller.
Yeah, makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Actually, it really helps my back.
It feels amazing, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does.
So I'm prone to getting
I'm keeping mine, yeah.
I'm prone to getting niggles in my back, and I've not had any since I started using the table. So I'm definitely going to keep doing it, but just not quite as much.
Yeah.
Maybe once a day.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Yeah, I quite like it in the morning or after a train. It feels really nice after a train.
Well, what I do is I just I get up in the morning, I'll go and get my hydration drink and that. Turn the PC on.
I've just got images of you lying upside down, just sipping
a
drink.
I drink some of that, I take my photos, and then what I do is I jump straight on the inversion table and I clear all my work messages that aren't check-ins.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes I'll sit down to do my check-ins and I'm like, I've got so many messages to get through first before I start doing my check-ins. Otherwise, the messages sit till after the check-ins.
Yeah.
So now I've started just doing that upside down.
Yeah.
And that 10-15 minute period of time just flies by.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, that's the routine for me every morning. Hydration, a wee bit of caffeine, and then upside down for 10 minutes. I'll probably still just keep doing that, But that's exciting, man. Open.
Yeah, man.
So, like, what was your progress last season's show there? Did you compete last year too?
4 years. 4 years. I've done a show. No, last time I competed was the end of 2023. End of 2023, and I think it was like £14 a pound.
Right.
Since I started competing, the first show, it's like 36 or something.
So
I can off season. That's one thing I can do is off season.
So that's something that a lot of people can't do. That's the difference between the guys who make considerable progress and the guys who
I always say medals are won in the off season. Always do it.
I totally agree. Actually, I've said this in lots of reels and stuff on Instagram as well. Are only bodybuilders during prep.
Yeah.
And then after prep.
I had no idea how many people do this. I was oblivious to it, naive, but yeah, there's a lot.
I used to be the same though.
Oh, did you?
I used to be the same. So
what changed?
So I've actually been bodybuilding since I first went to the gym when I was 15, when I was young, and I competed first when I was like 18.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And then I'd done a show again when I was 19, and another when I was 20, and I had a little boy, and it all kind of went.
Yeah.
But to that point there, I was just prepping. I would grow during prep.
Yeah.
Because after prep, I would just go back to eating just like normal stuff.
Yeah.
I was a young boy though. It wasn't until like 5-6 years ago when I got with Cuba and went back to doing it properly.
Yeah.
Even after that, it was always like, after my prep, I was always, what can I eat? Like, where can I go to eat? Can I get enough planned meal? Like, I think you need to learn bodybuilding really, and it comes down to, I think it boils down to who wants to actually make the most progress.
Yeah.
Because some guys get away with just jumping back to normality after off season, after prep, and they can grow. If I'd done that, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I want to make every single piece of progress I possibly can. So, like for me, spoke to Cuba about it yesterday, we're already in recovery. We're going to run that for 6 weeks, there or thereabouts. Now I do blood work every 12-ish weeks anyway, and my bloods right now are better than half the natural blood people's that I've seen. You know what I mean? So my bloods are in a pretty good spot. We didn't have to push assistance high at all this prep because I was already maxed out at my cap. I was already quite heavy. So it was like half the supplements that we used last prep. So we're in a pretty good spot. Do we keep pushing and try and build tissue? No, pointless. So we are already decided recovery now. 6 weeks of recovery, get healthy, get business back up, because business took a little hit during prep there because I was back-to-back peak weeks. I've not been really posting any content.
It's relentless.
Of course, I've not really been taking too many consult calls because I don't want to let people down, Sam. I hate letting people down. So, like, I've had to switch my inquiry list off because if people still inquire for my coaching, I can still message them. I can still have a consult with them. That's not the hard part. I can still make their plan. That's not the hard part. The hard part comes when you send across the plan to the client, and they've got a million questions off the back of it, and you have to kind of babysit them for the first week, which is no problem usually. But in peak week, I just don't have the time or the patience for that. So like, I've had to obviously not been taking on any clients recently. So just get back, man. Just restore a bit of normality. Get back to the family. You know, Emma's been having a pretty shitty time recently. Her dad's not very well. The kids have not really seen me that much. I've been travelling, so I'm excited to get back to normality. But for me, nothing changes diet-wise. Back to baseline, like from tomorrow, and then we'll just allow my body to resettle, which won't take long because I woke up today 95.8. I'm only a kilo heavier than what I was yesterday. And like the amount of food that went in backstage yesterday, I would expect to be a bit heavier than that. So one more day I'll be back to where I was, travelling, and then that's me, straight back on the diet, and I'll reverse back up slowly. But this is the hard part though, because this is when hunger gets extreme.
Reverse diet is 10 times harder.
So
10 times harder.
As soon as the show's not there anymore,
there's
like no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just like a big long tunnel again. You've got nothing to see. So
you've got all your food everywhere, and you're just gonna dodge it. Like you got to.
Nobody's asking
how many people do you know mess up in this part?
Exactly.
They get too fat too quick.
This is the hard
bro. They got a diet again.
This is the hard part.
Or they're, like you're in recovery, and how many people's bloods don't recover, or takes like 16 weeks to recover because they're just eating everything inside. I've done it once. I learned from it. That's how I think everyone must.
But that's what I mean. Like, you either do that once. Like I said this to Nath the other day as well. I'll make a mistake once. But I'll not make that mistake again. Because it puts you in a bad way. Like last night, I could have easily went and smashed 300 pizzas. Like what most people do.
I offered you to come for a burger,
Exactly. I actually passed up on a bro date with Sam last night because I said, look, it's a bit late. It was like 8:30 and I still had to come home and get a shower. And I knew if I went and smashed a burger at 9:30, when I came home at 10:30, I would have rolled about the bed in pain. I wouldn't have got to sleep. I wouldn't have been able to get up this morning and be productive for my clients. I wouldn't have been able to get up this morning and go to the gym, train legs, and still got work to be done. So I had a big bowl of cream of rice, 200 grams of cream of rice, 200 grams of blueberries. Absolutely inhaled it. Went off to my bed, slept for 6-7 hours, and I'm up getting my hydration done. Speaking to Sam, I'm going to get my work done when Sam disappears, and then I'm going to bounce off and train legs. So been a productive day, but the day post-show usually, before, when I was a bit premature in bodybuilding, I would have spent most of the day in cramps in my bed, like in agony because of the amount of shite that I did the night before and then wouldn't have slept. You learn. I think bodybuilding's a process, and you learn and you get better. Or you don't. You get better or you don't. And the people who get better are the people who I'm now meeting. I'm now mingling with these guys because this is obviously what I do. So it's nice. It's a breath of fresh air. You meet guys like Sam. So obviously me and Sam didn't know each other until Sam travelled all the way from England all the way up to Scotland just to take my Scottish title. That's when me and Sam met. So obviously we got off to a pretty bad start.
Stay in England and do an England regional,
man. Why did you have to come up?
Honestly, I didn't. When I said I'd do this show, show, I didn't know it was even in Scotland. I had no idea. I was just like, okay. The coach is like, yeah, there's a regional here, regional there, pro qualifiers. It's all back to back. I was like, let's give it a go. Because I've got to come off work completely. It was like, makes sense to do it all in one block. I had no idea it was all the way in Scotland. No idea. Why have I done that? It was actually because I drove. It takes less time for me to come to Alicante, do this pro qualified travel
than it did
to Scotland.
Obviously went to the Scottish two bros. Sam beat me, but then I said, you know what, I wasn't at my best. I wasn't at my best. You all know I wasn't at my best. I absolutely made an ass of that peak. I think I just needed the stage time this year over there.
Best, would you say, was that show?
No, I loved it.
You were on.
That was the best look I've ever brought. Best presentation I've ever brought.
I was going to say the posing as well. We were.
Aye, best presentation I've ever brought.
And you were
still sweating
cool as a cucumber.
Still sweating though. He ran me through the ring.
I'm not surprised though. I mean, a lot of the guys were.
I was still a lot worse than everybody else though, but that just comes down to fitness, and I've accepted it. You know what? You can never be perfect, Sam, I don't think, but you can always get better, and that's something that I've realised now I need to be better with as well. So again, spoke to Cuba last night. Spoke to Sammy as well. Sammy said, Do you know
Yeah,
him?
I use Sammy as well, man.
Yeah. So Sammy's been brilliant, guys.
Yeah.
If any of you are stuck with your posing, or not even stuck but just want to be better, give Sammy Williams a little message on Instagram. His Instagram tag's Flow by Sammy. He actually coaches the both of us. We're posing. He's been voted one of the best.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Best posing coach in the UK, and he's actually so cheap. It's unbelievable. So hit Sammy up if you're wanting to learn how to pose properly. He's very patient. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
The both of us, I mean, held their poses pretty well. I'm still a little bit on pose fit though, so I did mention to Cuba, do you think we should add in some cardio? I've never done cardio.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm so busy when I'm at home.
Yeah,
I've got ADHD, I think, right? So I will open the fridge to get the kids' juice.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, there's strawberries, look a bit mouldy. So I'll take the strawberries first to the bin, then the bin's full, and then I'll end up taking the bin outside. And then I'll be outside and I'll be like, fence is broken, I'll just get my drill and I'll fix that. Before I know it, tap's still on in the house and I'm outside changing the wheel in the car. So it's nuts, it's a bit nuts. So Cuba's like, bud, no cardio please, you're already eating 4,000 calories and we're not moving on scale weight because you're that busy. So I don't do cardio for that reason, but I think that's what bit me in the ass on stage, because I'm unfit. I look good, but I'm unfit. But Cuba said, no, we don't need cardio. What we do need is you to just be consistent with your posing. And he's so right, man.
Just about
he's so right. So
it's the one difference, because you probably, last time I competed, I would have burnt out or something like that.
I like
yeah, in Sweden they put me through it in 2023. They put me through it, and I just was like struggling to hold a vacuum anymore. I was blowing. This time I didn't religiously do it through off season, but I was very, very consistent, at least five times a week.
Really?
And then prep, it was every single day.
And did you find that as you posed through your off season, it got really hard as you got better?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Near the back end of the off season, it probably did decrease even a little bit more, because it just was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You can't. You're posing, and it's just like this doesn't it doesn't look good anymore.
No.
It's hard to see in the mirror. But as soon as I started prep, I did it after every single session, just by chance. Although that was hard, I could have kept going. Round. That was purely just because start of prep. I was consistent.
Well, did you hear Steve asking me, you okay? You got another round? So the head judge last night, guys, right, at the Amateur Olympia in Spain was Steve Weinberger, and he is the head judge at the Olympia. All right, so it's like, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Isn't it?
I competed yesterday at the biggest amateur show you can do at an amateur level, I would say. But for maybe the Arnold, what would you say was bigger? The amateur Olympia?
Amateur Olympia. You actually got 3 pro cards.
Exactly.
Everyone goes there.
So it's the biggest show at an amateur level that you can do. There was 19 guys in my class. I got 5th and Sam got 4th. Now, I went into this show, actually said in the morning on Instagram and here on YouTube, if I could crack that top collar, I would be so happy. And I was in it. I didn't know I was in it. I was standing at the back of the stage when he shouted all the numbers, and I was like 1, 2, 3, 4. How's there only 4? I was like, how am I not in that? And I was like, so I just kind of put my hands on my hip. And he went, 53? I was like, oh, it's me. He went, come on. I was like, yes. So I was already starting to sweat, but managed to crack the first call out. But then it was, when we were running through the poses, Steve held us. He proper held us. And a vacuum for me is so hard to hold, because I've not practiced it enough. So I started to get a little bit sweaty, but I was fine. I'd done the 3 or 4 rounds fine. And then he was like, I started to sweat a little bit. And I looked at him, he looked at me and he went, are you okay? And I went, yeah. And he went, you got another round?
Yeah, as if you're going to say no.
No, I was going to say, nah, let me go and get a drink of water. I was like, aye, I'm totally fine. He went, okay, front of a bicep. I was like, right, I have another vacuum. and then the whole time, when I'm standing there, he wasn't even looking at me. He was just looking at the 3 in the middle. So when we came back out the next time, right, they shouted at 4 numbers, just 4. 63 was the number. And I heard 63, so I just stood there, because I'm 53. And the guy's like, 53! 53! I says, no, he said 63. And he's going, no, Ryan, 53! I was like...
He had it in for you, that bloke.
So I jumps up the stairs and I walks on stage, and Steve's like, no, I'm not 53. I was like, oh no! I walked back. You didn't just do that to me.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So I jumped back off. I knew there and then, I'm not in the top 4.
Yeah.
But I think I'm still in the top 5.
Yeah.
So I was so happy with 5th. So happy with 5th.
And to give you a perspective, the dude that beat me in Sweden, he was in 2nd corner.
Really?
Yeah.
And he beat you for 1st place?
Yeah, in Sweden.
And that was only 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago, yeah.
So the guy that beat you in Sweden and robbed you that 1st place was in the 2nd corner?
Yeah. To give you an idea of the standard.
So even I beat him?
Yeah.
It's mental.
That's to give you an idea of the standard, yeah.
It's mental. Bodybuilding's so subjective, and you can be, like, for example, Dara McNamara. He came over from, so he's not actually in Ireland anymore, but you'll know there was a big hype in the lead up to the Scottish when nobody knew about Sam, and everybody thought it was between me and Dara. Well, I beat Dara at the Scottish, and I wasn't my best. Like, I know I wasn't my best. So I thought when I went to Ireland, I didn't have anything to worry about with Dara.
Yeah.
And when I went to Ireland, I was
on fire.
But I was my best.
Yeah.
I was the best I'd been. I was better than Scotland and better than Spain. And he smoked me. He beat me. Well, he never smoked me.
I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got 3rd and I got 4th. So he picked me on that one spot. So it just shows you, like, it's all about, it's subjective, it's very subjective. But all you can really do, you can't control who turns up on the day.
Yeah.
What you can do is control your variables. And, like, for me, Scotland was a write-off. And I still got 2nd. You know, Spain was better. I made a much better presentation. I was much more with it, you know, and I had a much better time. Ireland again was better better presentation, better physique. Just need to smile more. So this show that we done yesterday, man, it was my favourite. I enjoyed it so much. I went in with 0 expectations. And I think mentally it left me clear in the head, which allowed me to just enjoy myself.
Yeah, because imagine you took Scotland, and put you in that show.
I would have had a meltdown.
Yeah.
So let's chat a wee bit about shit before you go.
Yeah, man.
About your plans for next. So obviously the plan is going open, and you're still going to be focusing on keeping your lines and waist and
I want to keep basically
the classic look.
Yeah, keep the classic look.
But just getting much bigger.
Yeah, I need to focus more on legs to bring that up portion to my body.
And what would you say you were lagging, if you're lagging anything at all?
Legs. I want to get bigger. Calves.
That's the one thing that I don't need is calves.
Yeah.
The only one thing.
Enormous.
The only one thing. But I think you could trade me some chest, and I could trade you some calves.
I'll take that. I'll take that deal, man.
Aye, you don't need any of chest anyway.
Yeah, because chest and upper back and shoulders, they're proportion wise they're decent, but just need more lower back, more legs, and more arms. You can never enough arms.
Nah. No.
But if I look at my pose, my arms are really good size until I get to a front double, and it's like
when you lift them up, they're just not enough.
Yeah. So bigger arms.
Mine's
who doesn't want bigger arms, you know?
At least your arms look big in certain poses.
Yeah.
I don't have arms, so that's my problem.
You do have arms. No, your side chest is just really good.
So it never used to be. I don't know what's happened to that, but I took a screenshot of this. I'll show you this.
I think your side chest from like yesterday, for example, to Scotland.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's me.
That's what I mean, man.
Like, I've just seen this shot.
You sent me the ones from Scotland?
I can't actually believe that's me, but it's like that arm.
Yeah.
But then that's the first time I've ever seen my arm like that on stage. But the reason for that's because we were in the gym before we went on stage. Like, usually at every other show, you've just got a set of bands in your bag and you have to just pump up backstage with the bands, do some press-ups. I don't do much press-ups because I sweat a lot, because I need a lot of press-ups to stimulate my chest. So it's a bit of a nightmare. I'm never fully pumped on stage, but at the Amateur Olympia, they have a whole gym backstage. So I literally done, see when you disappeared, I was like, maybe I should go well. It's maybe too early.
Yeah.
And then I thought, nah, Kuma told me stay. Just keep up. Don't worry about anything else. Stay. You've had your pump drink. Just pump really slowly. So I was like, right. So I went through my push session in my head and I'd done one exercise from everything. So I'd done like one set of flies.
Yeah.
I got in the machine, I'd done one set of press. I'd done one set of triceps, push down. I'd done a set of biceps. I'd done a set of lateral raises, and then I went into my pull day, and I'd done one set of everything there. And then I thought, I didn't feel too pumped, but I feel like I could get bigger, so I repeated it again. And I was halfway through that, and they were like, Ryan, get a bit out there! I was like, we haven't even got a chance to use the gym.
Yeah.
So I went back, and he was like, you have to stand here, please. And I looked at class, he was still on. So I said, I'm just going to the toilet. He went, no problem. I just went back to the gym, finished my second set, and came back out. And that's the biggest I've ever
I'm not joking, man. When you came back in, you're walking towards me, your entire arms, top line, I was like, Jesus. It was like, what has he done back there?
I was like, where did the sand go? I thought we were staying for a pump.
I was getting more glazed.
You're losing the pump, bro. It feels so good though.
To be fair, when we've nailed these peaks, it barely takes anything to get pumped. Like I do one set of one thing and that's it. And then what I'll do is, as I'm posing, I'll just get better and better.
Yes, I noticed that as well.
Yeah,
I noticed that on you and on me.
Yeah.
Like, so Scotland, I never knew. So in Scotland, I never posed backstage, and it wasn't until I went out, I'd done my first round of posing, they put me backstage, and then when I come out and done my routine, I looked down, my legs were mapped, I had veins going down the sides of my obliques, I had veins over my delts.
Yeah.
I felt big.
Yeah.
And it's because you hear that people get better as they pose. It's just obviously as you pose hard, you push the glycogen and the water through the muscle tissue and everything comes to the surface, etc, etc. So I actually look better as I pose as well. So
it can go the other way.
Yes.
It's happened to me before.
Yeah, if you pose too much.
I faded away.
Yeah, but
I got shifted out.
If you're properly peaked to a little bit of posing backstage,
I not enough water, not enough sodium.
Yeah.
There's plenty of carbohydrates in me, just sodium and water just needed.
Exactly, and that's another thing that people make a mistake of when show the massive water and salt manipulations. So I don't know about you, but for me, this after Ireland, we just coasted main on 4,000 calories. There was no up and down really. We pulled back a little bit the day before the show just to make sure we could make cap.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it was just I'm religiously 1 gram of salt, 8 litres of water a day. And then the day before weigh-in, we dropped me to 6 litres of water, but kept the 1 gram of salt per meal. I dropped maybe half a kilo overnight. I weighed in. On the day before the show, we've done another 6 litres, but we assessed the look all through the day.
Yeah.
Cuba says, your best look was here. How much water had you had? I said 3.2 litres.
Yeah.
He went, show day, no more than 3 litres. So show day, I woke up, I had 500 mils. I sipped throughout the day because 3 litres, when you're used to drinking 8 litres, 3 litres doesn't go very far.
No.
So I had to sip throughout the day. The reason why you keep sipping is just because you want to keep passing, you don't want to stop pissing. And if you stop drinking, you will stop pissing altogether. So just keep sipping, keep pissing, get drier basically as it goes. But then after you wake up, or after you get off stage, you're pretty dehydrated. What are we talking about? Why did I get onto that? Oh yeah, so that's what it is. So, but a lot of people think when they're carving up, if they drink less water, they're going to get drier. Yeah. And in actual fact, that couldn't be further away from the truth, because you actually need water to push the carbohydrates into the muscle cells. So you need, like every 1 gram of carb you take, I'm sure needs like 3 grams of water. I'm not 1,000,000% sure on the ratio, but I think it's 3 to 1. I'd bet money on it, I'm that confident. But yeah, you need water. And if you don't take water, you will actually dehydrate yourself. The more dehydrated you get, the less water you drink, the more water you will actually hold. So
and go flat. Like,
exactly.
There's Zach put a picture of me upon waking, and then me 5 hours, I think it was, before the show.
I seen that.
And I was twice the size, more conditioned and drier.
So I made, after seeing your photo, I made one the exact same.
Oh, did you? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, for me, just to have a little look, and have a little look at that, that's the exact same, fasted in the morning.
Yeah, look, way more conditioned, way bigger as well. Jesus Christ, your legs are like doubled in size.
It's nuts, eh?
Yeah.
That was fasted, and then
drier and everything.
After two meals and 3 litres of water.
Yeah.
So just for everybody to see that there, on the left hand side is me just fresh out of bed in the morning. On the right hand side is me after 2 meals and 3 litres of water. Hopefully the screen quality is good enough for you to see the difference there, but it's insane what food and water can do. So pulling the water or the salt entirely is just silly, especially when your body's used to be running on that for that amount of time. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it can work, it can lead to a dry.
Yeah. Some people.
But you need to nail it. You need to nail it perfectly, and there's so many variables that can make it go the opposite way. It's just not even worth the risk, in my opinion. You add genetics into the mix and everything as well. Wow, crazy. So bodybuilding isn't really as complex as what people think, but Like, for example, getting off stage yesterday, because I'd only had 3 litres and it was like 8 o'clock at night, my first job was to get myself hydrated. My piss was dark brown.
Yeah.
And it never is dark brown. So, like, I would never have, a lot of guys got straight off stage and went straight to eat cookies.
Yeah.
My guts would have just went,
Yeah.
and they would have just stopped.
Yeah.
So my first job after getting off stage was get hydrated.
Yeah.
I think by the time I'd left backstage to get in this car, I think I'd polished off like 1.7 litres.
Yeah, I drink 2 litres before I do it, before any food goes in.
And I don't
and electrolytes as well.
I never even felt it, like my stomach,
Yeah.
it's like it just got immediately dispersed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the plan for Sam. Sam's going open, Nath. You want to come say hello to YouTube? Come and say like, comment and subscribe.
Comment and subscribe. Shite bag if you didn't.
Nath's nocturnal. He's been looking after me this week, so to speak. So he's been running about my ass left, right, and centre. I've been going to my bed 7 o'clock, and he's been going back out to the shops to get all my stuff for the next day and that. So he's absolutely ruined. So he had a little bit of a longer lie today. That's why he's missed the coffee and the giggles. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thanks for coming on the YouTube. Wish you all the best with your muscle building process, bud.
And
definitely keep in touch. We need to get you up as well. Come and stay in the back cave.
Yeah, no, that's been awesome, honestly.
Get some training sessions done. That's good. Who wants to see a training session with me and Sam? Well, we get Sam up to the office. He can live in the back cave for the weekend, and we'll get a few training sessions. I think that's definitely something we should do. But again, thanks for watching, guys. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, you have to put me through one of your leg sessions, man.
What
Get legs like that.
Definitely. We'll be going to the gym and putting Sam through a big leg session, so that'll be sound. But yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and we'll catch up again later, guys. Cheers.